G'day guys, Steve Morgan here for ABT and Fishing Monthly magazines at the final event of the Zerek BARRA Tour 2017. This was the Venom Rods round and it was what we used to call the BARRA Marathon. We fished from 4 p.m. in the afternoon right through to 8 the next morning. So it's an all-night session and it not only tests your barra fishing ability, it tests your stamina out there. Now, when we started this event, the team that was really the movers and shakers on day two and the last event, the two-night event, were these guys. They got Team Barratrauma. They brought in an 80 kilo plus limit on day two to come from basically last to fifth. And the question was, were they going to be able to find those fish again and do it again? Well, this is the winner's interview. They are the trophies, and these guys have done it again and done it by a real margin. Peter and Zach, what a great performance. And you've had 2 nights of absolute epic barra fishing for the last 2 events of the ABT. Zach, I heard that you have nights where one of you performs and one doesn't. Whose night was it last night?
Yeah, it was my turn last night. Yeah, but that was good team effort, and we both hooked a lot of fish, and yeah, it was just unreal. Like you go out and social fishing and you wish for stuff like that, but to do it in an ABT's, yeah, it's really special. It's great.
Now let's talk about the actual spot. You were talking about it when we did the presentation. Explain the spot in a little bit of detail and why you think the barra were there.
Yeah. We done a bit of sounding around coming into that second session. Pete and I sounded around for about 2.5 hours. Basically, it was just where the wind was blowing. We figured the current would push fish and bait into that direction, and then we just needed to figure out the other half. And yeah, we found a good flat with plenty of weedy corridors, and we could see barra in the weed on the sounder, and we could see some big bony bream around as well. And we positioned the boat a couple of times until we were happy with how we were sitting, and I think it took probably 3 casts, and we hooked up and filled bag quite quickly after that. Yeah.
So that first night you guys caught 25 fish on the scoreboard. Last night wasn't as epic, but it was still pretty high in the epic department, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we landed 12 last night. Probably hooked about another 20 though. Just last night they were biting a bit different. We kept jumping them off and got one smoked into the trees, and I got chafed off by a big one as well.
Now, tell us about... Now, I was pretty impressed by the bait that you were catching some of these guys on. You've dragged this out to show us. Tell us what's going on with that fella. What is it and how are you throwing it?
Yeah, Savage Gear line through trout. We just saw them online.
Yep.
And, yeah, they're awesome. The action on these things is just incredible.
And how would you rig them up?
So your leader goes straight through, and it's got a little hook that goes into there. It stops it sliding down, and we just had a big treble on the back and a couple of jig assists just to make them bite.
Now, you need to throw that on some pretty solid gear. Like, you don't just throw that on a single-handed base caster. Take us through the gear you were using to throw it.
So they're 200 gram baits, so we're using big edge swim bait rods. This one is rated to 5 ounces, so it's more lob than a cast, just big overhand lob. Let them hit the water, sink down to the weed and pop them up out of the weed and just slow roll them back.
So let them hit the bottom, flop them up, and then let them swim like a fish on the way.
Yeah, just get them above that weed and just keep rolling them, and then you just get crunched and your rods rip out it.
Do you have to upscale your line, your leader, or anything to fish them?
You're running a pretty heavy fluorocarbon leader just because that runs up and down your leader every now and then, so it chafes up a bit.
So when you hook a barra on these baits, does that bait go flying up the line so the barra jumps and it doesn't jump off?
Yeah, it's really funny. We were a bit confused the first time we hooked one because we seen our barra going that way and we just seen this bait skipping across the water, and we weren't sure what was going on, but yeah, the bait goes flying up your line and the barra goes the other way. It's pretty awesome. Now,
that was not the only bait you caught the fish on. What was the other ones that produced?
The 7-inch castake was another really great lure as well, and same thing. We was chucking that into the corridors and slow rolling it, hopping it through the weed. We found last night we really needed to put a bit more action into the lure and keep it sort of hopping up through the water and letting it fall back into their face. So yeah, it was a standout lure for us as well.
Now, you're fishing that on a spin rod. You don't need bait cast gear to catch a big barra. Run us through the outfit.
This is a 708 Black Widow with just a 3000 Certate, and yeah, it's got plenty of power, this rod. Like, I pulled a few out of the trees with it, and yeah, I found with the wind, like if we sort of didn't get the right wind that we wanted, I could still throw this a nice distance into the right area. So if the wind wasn't quite how we wanted it, you're sort of casting crosswind, yeah. So yeah, I found that to be pretty useful, yeah.
So, guys, you just missed out on the Team of the Year. The calculations came back, and what it came down to was if you'd got one more place in one of the other events, and probably that Faust event would have been the way to do it, the one we've had before, you would have won the Team of the Year, because if we have a tie, it goes count back to who's done better in the last event. So we think we worked it out. There was only you only caught one fish on the first day on that Faust event, just another fish, you would have been up there. So are you going to have regrets about that?
No, it's only our second year on tour, so I think we exceeded our expectations of what we wanted to achieve. So I think we won Teamborough, biggest fish at Teamborough. We destroyed it that night at Faust, and then we won last night and got biggest barra again. So yeah, we're stoked.
Yeah, you can't. If you had been offered that at the start of the tour, you'd take it every time, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, it was just that one night at Faust catching those 25 fish that did it for me. It
was epic. Now, you guys got any sponsors you want to thank?
I'd like to thank Fish Tech and Second Nature. Yeah, they really helped me out. So
awesome. Really appreciate it. And Pete?
Yeah, Second Nature Apparel, and Dan at Tackle Pro Mackay, he helps us out with all our rods and gear. He's got biggest range ever in there, so that's good.
Awesome. Well, you guys, you've won the trophies and you have earned a well-deserved sleep. You've been up all night catching fish. Travel safe, guys. That's it from us from the 2017 Zerek BARRA Tour. We've loved running these events and bringing them to you. Look forward in future years. We're going to improve on the live stuff we've had. The Track My Fish app was awesome. When we had that coverage at Kinchin, you could actually see the leaderboards ticking over. We want to make Barra a spectator sport, so we'll be seeing you guys down the track to make that happen.